Hey, what are you going to call your company? Big Al's Roofing? And I said, you know what? It's catchy.
You're a terrible employee, but you're a good business owner.
Yeah, I don't like roofing. I love this shit.
You have like a 30-page long resume for sure.
I mean, I'm not better than you. I'm not better than nobody. I'm just a better roofer. That's all.
All right, so we got Mr. Alvaro Hernandez, the owner and founder and CEO of Big Al Roofing. What's
Correct.
going on, my brother?
Correct.
How are you today?
Pretty good, Joseph. How are you?
Doing fantastic, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for the invite, having me here, us as a third person, fourth person.
Excited to have you, bro.
Thank you for the opportunity, and hope we can
Give some value.
give some value and answer some questions and motivate somebody along the way.
Let's do it, man. So obviously the blueprint, what we do is, we try to bring in guests from all different types of businesses just to kind of show that there are so many ways to kind of branch out and get into entrepreneurship. But at the same time, kind of put into perspective the shit that people go through, because a lot of people see like your nice truck and
Yeah.
you're on the job every day and
Yeah.
he must be doing really well, but they don't really
Yeah.
see also like the messed up shit you probably had to go through to get there.
Yeah.
So it's it's meant to inspire, but to realistically set expectations as well. I think that way, whoever decides to take the leap of faith into whatever they do, they're making a conscious decision. And I think something that we probably would have appreciated along the way, things that nobody ever told us. Hopefully, we were able to tell some people. And
Yeah.
so let's start right in the beginning, Alvaro. Walk me through where were you born, where were you raised, kind of your upbringing, and we'll jump into your professional journey after that.
Gotcha. Well, I'm a Miami local, Hialeah born and raised,
Hey,
Dade County born and raised, Hialeah Hospital.
me too.
Went to a small private school
Was that the only hospital? I'm sorry,
back in the day. Probably. I mean, Palmetto was around too.
Fuck. Everybody's going to Hialeah Hospital.
I went to Hialeah Hospital. My sister went to Palmetto, and my brother also went to Palmetto. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I was the only one in Hialeah
Yeah.
officially. Grew up in a small family of three, and parents put you in private school to give you the best education that they assume we can get at that time. When the 80s and 90s, when the streets are a little wild out there. So we lived in the Miami Gardens area, and not in the decent part, but
Got it.
still close enough that my parents would worry. So
Yeah.
they put us in this little small private school. And
What school was that?
it's called Champagnat.
Oh.
Very rare that if anybody ever heard of it.
I think only locals will know that school.
Only locals or whoever went there.
Yeah.
Very small, but either way, they had a campus in Hialeah and one in Miami, and just went there. Eventually played some ball in high school and
What you play?
hit the streets. Used to pitch in
Really?
high school. Played baseball. Yeah,
We have a lot of baseball guys coming through here, bro. Yeah.
yeah. It was probably the best times of your life as
Yeah,
far as in
for
high
sure.
school and baseball with the boys. You're just creating.
You guys have a good baseball program at that small school, though.
Back then, it was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
we never really. When I was in school, we had probably that was like the best teams that they had those years. We only made it to like the districts. We always got beat by this one school right before we can make it to the regionals. Fucking Brito, another small little private school.
Yeah.
Probably he's maybe a little younger than I am, so we might have played him. I don't know. We didn't have interest to who was on the other team,
Right.
but whatever.
Yeah,
So
definitely older.
baseball wise, it was pretty good. Basketball, they were a much more popular
Okay.
team for that back then. They won
Did he go
states.
there all 12 years, K through 12, or?
4 through 12.
Got it.
4 through 12. My public school was Joella C. Good at Miami Gardens for the first 3 years.
Gotcha.
So my parents decided to
So
put us.
born and raised Miami Gardens, private school. I would call it probably working class family, obviously.
Yeah, my dad was a mailman. Besides having his roofing license back in the day, my mom's running apartments and like a community project.
Like property management?
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so you graduate high school. What happens then? Did you go to college? Did you start working right away? Kind of walk me through.
Graduating high school, there was a guy who graduated before me, and he was when I graduated high school, I was in the hopes of becoming getting into sports medicine. I always liked, the sports, but I liked the healing part of it. When I was a pitcher, you were on the bench most of the time unless you were playing.
Right.
So there's other guys pitched, I was always trying to take care of their arms, wrapping them up, massaging them, and stuff like that, hoping that I would get into sports like that. I actually wanted to go to Barry University to study that sports medicine. When I was graduating that year, and the guy already graduated before me, he was dating somebody in my class, so he came to visit. He's like, "Oh, this is what I got into. I got into massage." So after college, After high school, I went to study massage. I went to a school to learn how to do massage, how to
Massage therapist?
massage therapist. I went
Really?
there for a year and a half.
This is news to me, but I
I
would have never
did,
guessed that.
I did all that. I went out. I passed the testing. You know, before you take your state test, you got to pass your test in school.
Yeah.
I passed that. I got my actual license for masseuse. I went to go work at the Continuum in South Beach, the first two towers right there, right by the pier. And
as a massage therapist,
I got hired as a spa clerk in hopes to eventually turn into a massage therapist. I just wanted to get in there.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. Okay. Didn't work out. They kept me as a spa guy,
all right, so we got our headline from licensed massage therapist to licensed roofer.
Yeah.
How did you get into construction and roofing?
Man, I've done a lot of things. Worked. I don't mind working different jobs. At the end of the day, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Okay. I was a lost, still kind of am a lost soul, finding my way.
Like most people at that age. Yeah.
So I worked there, didn't work out. I ended up working I worked at Sunglass Hut for a few whiles in Miami Lakes.
Got it.
Place didn't really sell much, or at least they didn't have too much action back in the day. So Main Street. So back then it was a little dead, and that's when the stores were starting changing from one to another. Tony Roma's was still around, but everything else was changing, and nobody would really visit. So the hours weren't there. And then I ended up working at Enviro Waste, which is a company that has the big vacuum elephant trucks that suck the dirt out of the ground.
Okay.
Did that for like 3 weeks for $9 an hour, in hopes that I can get into the office. Move up into the office because they needed work inside they needed help inside the office, and I was trying to get in there.
Gotcha. So every job you took, you did it with a hope of something.
Yeah, hoping to move forward.
Okay, so
I drove trucks. I drove 18-wheelers. I was a
CDL?
Yeah, I have a CDL with the hazmat. I still have it active. I worked for AT&T for like 3 months on the call center. Kind of cool, but I
liar.
The lying part, yes, and in a sense, the coolest because the environment, the people, so many different peoples on every floor. Like there's one building, there's all AT&T.
Mali Americas.
Yeah, and you just meet all these random people that work in the same building. However, my job was to convince you to buy more when you're calling me to take shit off your thing. Yeah. So the guys who can do that were sneaky on the phone. We're talking fast. By the time you know it, they added more in your bill. You don't know where the hell they got you, but they sold so much stuff on you that they're making nasty commission.
Yeah.
And I don't like that kind of grimy,
you're not
shady stuff. So the supervisor one day was putting so much pressure on me to sell something on a call, and I just took my headphone off. I took my badge off, and I just walked out and left.
Okay.
I did Uber. For when Uber first came out for like 2 years, pretty good. Working 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would kill it. 1,000, 2,000 in 3 days. But driving crazy, driving all night. But it was fun. The environment, the people getting in your car. You see the ticker going up, 200, 300, 400 a night. Okay, but it's just more the environment of the kind of people you were picking up, the nightlife, the girls, the guys partying, the people coming home from the work or the airport.
Interesting.
Lastly, before I got into roofing, I started my cousin's.
What period of time is this?
We're like in 2012. The Uber
like how long? Like you're walking through all these jobs in a matter of 2-3 years, 6 months?
From high school to like the 10-12 years before I decided to.
Okay, so for a couple of years.
The whole it's my whole career is that.
Got it.
Excuse me, and then
So your last job before roofing?
My last job before roofing was Uber.
Got it.
I was an Uber driver while I was getting my examining done and there's 2 different tests. I was passing one, waiting for the other one, and doing Uber for that for a couple years before finally in December we passed the final test and the license became active. And then
your license for
roofing.
Okay, but we skipped the whole part of the story here. Why did you start studying for the license in the first place?
Well. And in between all those jobs before Uber, I worked for my family business. My cousin owns called Discount Roofing Supply, and I sold the materials there for 3 years. That happened right after Wilma, like 2016, something roughly right around there. Worked there for 3 years.
What
roughly.
year you graduated high school?
2002.
Okay, yeah. Wilma was. I remember I was a freshman in high school in 2005. That's when Wilma. It was the same year as Katrina.
Okay, well.
I was assuming it was booming because all the roofs were fucked up.
It was dead at that time, and then the hurricane came through,
and
and
business
then
started booming.
for them, you know, it
Yeah, claro,
freaking
for anybody in the roofing business at the
freaking
time.
boomed. I never experienced a hurricane, and
you
even
worked
now,
at the store.
I worked at the store. So the hurricane passes by in the middle of the afternoon, and at 1 o'clock the phone rings. Hey, guess what? We're gonna open up the shop. Drive to the shop. You get there, and it's already
A line of people.
fucking hundreds of trucks just waiting there to empty them out. In 2 hours, they were empty.
Beautiful.
Goes on for weeks, you know, flipping all the
So
material.
is that how you were first introduced to roofing, or was it because you mentioned your pops was a roofer too?
Yeah, my dad had the roofing license back in the day, and my uncle, which is the owner of this roofing supply, ran the company. We were in the shop as kids. We got pictures as little kids, you know, on top of the machines, but it never interested me back then. It never caught my attention.
You never wanted to, okay.
I working there, time just comes up that you have to do something else. I ended up meeting another roofer who's like, oh, come work for me. I'll pay you X amount a week. You just go check the roofs out for me. And they didn't do nothing. Just take pictures, measure it. Have a nice day. You'll pay me at the end of the week. Did that for a couple months when I realized that the guy wasn't legit. You know, the money wasn't there, or I would sell things and it just wasn't coming around.
Yeah, it was not a reliable job. Yeah.
And
okay, so you worked there, then you go to all these other jobs. You're doing Uber. Yeah. What made you say, fuck it, I'm gonna study for the license? Like, was it like I just want to do something else with my life? Like, at what point were you at mentally?
No, well, I worked at this company called Brainside, which is where I got my CDO.
Yeah, you have like a 30-page long resume for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around, bro. When you're trying to find your way, you got to find your way.
100%. Yeah, you tested everything.
I like trucks, so what did I do? I worked at this hazmat company because they paid pretty good, and they're nationwide. They're like a international. They're worldwide, actually, worldwide company. I was like, fuck it, let me try to jump in here. I'll work the warehouse, get my CDL with my hazmat.
In hopes of
driving a truck.
Hey, here we go.
I'm getting the hang. I always got to hope for something, right?
I see that.
So the problem there was that, not the problem, I guess the problem for the other people above me, I would get there at 8 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, I was done with my job. Like, you know, loading the trucks for the next day, cleaning the warehouse. So I would sit around back there just pushing paper, just being bored.
Okay.
So I liked the whole driving trucks because they would let me take the truck in the yard and just drive around the yard, practice backing up, hooking up the trailers and stuff like that. And to this day, I like trucks. Like I would, a goal or a dream of mine would be eventually to own a fucking 18-wheeler. Like even if I didn't drive it, have somebody drive it.
Right, just get into the trucking business. Yeah.
Truck, like always been something that I've thought of.
Okay.
But working there, again, the goal was to get into the trucks. The guy who was above me wasn't gonna let me get into the trucks because he kind of feared that if I got into the trucks, then I would come after the next job would be running the shop and taking it from him. And like same thing, I gave them official. That was the only company I've ever given my 2 weeks notice for, because if shit didn't work out, I wanted to come back to them. Thank God I didn't have to. When I left them, I was on Craigslist, not sure what to do, and scrolling, and I saw somebody hiring for a roofing salesman out of Hollywood. And I sent them an email, and like 2 days later, the wife responds to come, you know, meet the husband for an interview. Pull up to the job, and there's this big fucking gringo motherfucker, big guy, 6-something, you know, skinny, scary, intimidating looking guy. Happened to be the owner of the company, and at the end of the day, great guy, great company. Worked there for 3 years, learned what I had to learn.
How do they pay roofer and salespeople in roofing?
Every company is different. When I was there, they would give you 5% on the job for a new roof, 10% on repairs.
Got it.
And you kind of build up a pot and pay yourself from that pot. So, you know, if you racked up 15, 20 grand in commission that they store for you, you end up paying yourself $1,000, $1,500 a week. I got up to $1,500 a week.
Yeah.
And you live happy,
yeah,
right?
For sure. It's
$1,500 a week. You're at home, no bills. Yeah. But then the tough part is the hours. You know, you put in a lot of hours, and on the days off, you're still working. You don't have time to do other things, and then we eventually got into a little
altercation.
Not an altercation, just
disagreement.
A discussion, a disagreement, and out of that disagreement. flourished Big Al's Roofing because and during our disagreement and one of our last conversations we had when I was working there, he said, "Oh, well, what are you going to call your company?" He already knew that I was going for my testing and stuff like that. I worked there for 2 years. I had a fight. I went to go work for another roofer. I sold for him without a problem. And then I came back to this guy.
Okay.
This guy knew what was going on. He said, "Hey, work for a year. We'll figure things out and we can move forward together." Didn't happen. We had the discussion. And he said, "Hey, what are you going to call your company?" Big Al's Roofing. And I said, "You know what? It's catchy. I feel that it's like a homie, not like I'm your homie, but like a home name,
yeah,
like
HOMEY homie.
yeah, home. So
yeah.
So like I wanted to be that guy.
Got it. What year is this? 2015.
2015.
So and you were just studying for the license just to have the license because you were in the business,
Well,
right? Or was it the intention always to open the company?
No, the intention was to open a company because I realized that when I worked for him and then when I went to go work for somebody else who was same caliber company, one was in Hollywood, one was in Miami, and I realized that I can sell for this guy and then I can also sell for this guy. Then I knew that the people are calling that company because that company already created their reputation, right?
Presence.
They already know who they are, but they bought that company because they dealt with me. So when I realized that I can wear anybody's shirt and sell their roof, then I said, "Fuck it. Why am I gonna sell for another guy when I can sell for myself?" Yeah, granted, I'm not doing the millions of dollars that they're doing. That it's ridiculous. But if I didn't do what I've done or gone through what I've gone through, which I'm sure they've had to experience something like that along the way of the shit that I've gone through.
Yeah.
30 years from now, I mean, hopefully we can sit again and be like, "Hey, remember 30 years ago?"
So I'll tell you my what I got from all of this. You're a terrible employee, but you're a good business owner.
Yeah, no, I'm a so-so business owner, but
you gotta quit every job.
I'm not a fan of
jobs.
Being an employee. Like, I don't know, it just I tried it, but it never worked out.
Yeah, you really did.
And that's a couple of jobs, but you tried everything, you know.
And there's no shame in that. I think at the time, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe for me. I think society kind of tells you need to go get a job. So a lot of people go through that shit. They're just jumping from job to job, and there's probably a valid reason why you quit every single one. You know, and the reality is that some people are just not meant to be employees. And just nobody really tells us that shit. So then we're just trying to figure it out and going in circles. And then, you know, at least my mom used to bitch at me when I was switch jobs. And like, why are you quitting so much?
I even wrote it down. I even put mom here because if it came up, you know.
Tell me, mom was mad at you because you quit so much?
No, my mom, my parents, but especially my mom was the first phone call always before I quit. I go, "Ma," I would call her, "Ma, I'm at whatever I'm working at. This happened, but I don't want to work here no more." And what she would say, "Okay, mijo, si tú crees que eso está bien, hazlo. Dios te bendiga." And like, that's just supported.
Yeah.
Whatever I wanted to do every time I quit. And when I failed the roofing test, you know, the tests are hard. I failed each one. There's 2 tests. I failed each one time. I called her, "Hey, Ma, I failed. Don't worry, mijo. You know, keep studying. Try it again. You're gonna pass it." So
awesome.
That support, I've always had it at home. Thank God. You know, some people don't.
Right.
Don't get it or don't have it or don't or whatever.
Sometimes parents can be that guy. I mean, I love my mother to death, and my mom has my back on everything, but her initial reaction has always been like, "Why are you quitting? Wait, hold on. You have a good job." You know.
Yeah, because they worry that.
Yeah, I think it's a
they don't know what
thing,
what you can do, or, you know what you can end up doing, like what you successfully have done with your insurance company, what you got going on here, and whatever else you try. I'm sure you'll freaking ace it without a problem.
Hopefully, yeah.
But that's what parents do, you know. They worry, and like now you go over there, and they'll still treat you like a baby. "Ay, mi niño," like
literally.
It bothers me sometimes. I'm 41 years old. I go, "Ma, like seriously,
you're blessed.
I'm an old man already. You're treating me like a baby, but you're always gonna be my baby."
Yeah, I put up to a restaurant at the Lago, meeting my parents, and the waitress came and she's like, "Este es el niño." Because she was like, "El niño," because I told her what to order for me, and she told them, "El niño me pidió so and so and so," and she thought that a teenager that drives was putting up my old ass pulls up. Este es el niño.
I need to get un high chair.
All right, so you started Big Al. You got the license. Bam. the logic or the reasoning behind it, which is right, it's actually so simple that sometimes people miss that. Which was, if I'm selling for any company that I sell, why wouldn't I just do it for mine? Like a lot of people might not even really know how big the other company is or isn't, whatever the case may be. This is 2015, right? You started year 10 now.
Yeah.
At this point, are you a one-man show? Do you have a crew that can go get jobs? And answer that part, and then your first client, because you never forget your first. How'd you land your first client?
I probably did forget my first. Let me tell you. What was the first part of the question?
Did you have a crew?
No. I am a one-man show. You call Big Al's Roofing, I pick up the phone. 90% of the time, I'm the one that's going to go do the estimate. I currently now have a guy that I can send for certain estimates. I'll send them out. You know, if it's something simple, just simple roof, you know, not too complicated. If it's something that I really want, I go myself, because at the end of the day, people call Big Al's Roofing to deal with me and not to. If my company was called XYZ Roofing, you know, it doesn't matter. You send whoever the fuck you want out there.
You can open a job position and make sure that the requirements of your name is Alvaro or,
no.
or Albert.
No, it's funny because my brother worked for me for a little while. He's bald and bearded too, but he's skinny, super skinny. So every time he would get out of the car, hey, are you Big Al? But I know. I told him, make a joke about it. I go, say your name is Little Eddie. So I'm Little Eddie. Big Al is my brother and shit like that. So we try to keep it like very funny, friendly, you know.
I think it gives you a community feel. Like
that's my goal. At the end of the day, my goal opening up this business wasn't never to make money. Of course, you make money regardless.
It's a byproduct.
Right? Money to me comes and goes. You know, I've seen a couple $100,000 in the bank, and I've seen fucking $500, and you get that email from the bank. Hey, you got no fucking money in there.
Your balance be dropped below.
I'm like, what the fuck? You know, what do you do? Nothing. You
just keep going.
You hope that phone rings, and all I ask for is opportunities. If I have the opportunity to sit in front of somebody's house for a roof replacement, my number is going to be good. So there's no reason why I shouldn't get that job unless, you know, the other guys highly recommend it or whatever. But to answer your question, I'm a one-man show. I answer the phone, I pull the permits, I run the jobs.
Well, how'd you do this? Because now you have experience, and now this shit's got to be like routine to you. You know what I mean? How'd you do it 10 years ago?
The same
like,
way. Like,
how hard was it? Were you like, did you have a learning curve, or not really? Was it what you expected?
No, learning curve was more of a financial learning curve. Managing money and shit like that. That's my biggest thing, because like it would come and go, so you know, let it go. It's gonna come back. It does come back. Sometimes it takes a little longer, and it puts you in certain positions.
Don't feel bad.
But it comes back,
that's my logic too.
And
okay, and then your first client. Do you remember that first client?
My first client, if I'm not mistaken, my first client probably came from a referral of a guy who I sold to when I was working for the other company.
Got it.
And then he knew that I opened up my own thing, and then he called me. He sent me one of his people from his community. Yeah. And
you went bam.
And we knocked it out.
Did you feel any different doing the sale? Because you're used to doing the sale. You've done the shit countless times for the other companies.
Yeah.
Did it feel any different? Were you nervous? Were you proud? Were you like, fuck yeah, it's me now?
No, nervous, no. Proud, definitely. As soon as, you know, you sit on, when it comes to that point, you sit on a table like this, and you bring out all the documents to sign everything. And, you know, once they sign, that's no big deal. But once they sign that check, and they pass you that check, you're like, fuck, that shit's coming to me. It's not going to the other guy's pocket or whatever.
Because you will pick up the checks before too, probably just give them to the owner.
Yeah, I would just pick up the check. Oh, God, damn, 20,000, 10,000, whatever, on a big monster roof, because they target like a higher end ticket. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, that's crazy. If I'm getting 5% of this, these motherfuckers are getting 30, 40%.
Yeah, they're making a good margin on that.
Hell of a number, you know? And so I got into it not for money, but more for, I learned there how to customer service and how to take care of people. On one side of the thing, we like on the phone with the estimates and just handling the customer. And then I learned how to take care of the customer service on the roof part with like the crews and executing with the crew. I can handle things better with the crew instead of having like a 5-man guy, that 5 guys that show up every day to the house or every day to your shop to come for work, and if you don't have a job,
of course, makes sense.
Go wash cars, and I still pay you X amount. Like
No.
I don't like that pressure, nor do I like having them do
You're
shit
wasting
like that.
your money and their time until a certain
So I'd
extent.
rather have a crew that just make a phone call. This is what I got.
Yeah.
And I know that for the last 10 years I've been using them. That
It's worked out.
I don't have to be there, but I like to be there.
Yeah.
I like to. We just tore off a roof today. I was there making videos. I was there sweating with them. I was there laughing with them. I don't eat with them, but we'll sit down, eat, talk shit. I like to be on the roof. I see roofing is in my blood because my dad had a license thing, but I wasn't even into it back then. But now, like, roofing is literally in my blood. Like,
it's what you like. It's what you do.
This is what I do. This is not.
Bro, was there a point, Alvaro, where you're like, shit, I'm gonna make it? Like, because most people start. I mean, everybody thinks they're gonna make it when they start a company. I don't think nobody's ever started a business saying,
you better not start it if you're thinking like that.
you probably thought you were gonna get on the hazmat truck when you got that job.
I did.
Yeah, I forgot what the other one that you had the hopes for, but you thought you were gonna get into the massage thing when you got that job as a clerk.
Yeah.
So you thought you were gonna make it, but you've also experienced quite a bit of failure in those jobs. Like, there's gotta be a moment, and I know the feeling is like this like reality check that comes to you to be like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna happen. I'm just gonna quit the job. Yeah. Did you at any point have a moment where you're like, oh shit, like I'm actually like be able to do this for a long time? Or is it you're just kind of just going with the punches and?
I don't feel like I made it. I don't feel like I made it. I don't feel like I made anything.
All right, let me rephrase the question then. Do you feel like you could still lose it?
Lose like this, like the roofing, the business? Now, going through what I've gone through and the mistakes that I've made, I don't think I can lose it.
So so you did make it.
I guess I made it to survive.
Maybe not like you haven't made your life goals, but within your business.
Like other companies. Like,
I mean, I know you have. You've been in business for 10 years. I think it's more of maybe this is the moment where you realize.
No, now maybe. Yeah. Now maybe from here and 2025 is where I make it, and I hopefully get to soar into.
And what's your definition of making it? How about that? Let's discuss that. Like, what would you consider making it?
Making it to me would be.
We're not gonna snip it out of this shit. So
making it to me would be like being able to take care of the people that are around me. My family, my godchildren, whatever. The guy that I have working for me, who happens to be my cousin, blood family, came from Colombia a couple years ago, and I said, "Fuck it, help me. I need help." Because I do need help. Regardless if I live in Miami or if I live in Port St. Lucie, I need help because I can't do the estimates, and I can't also run material to this job.
It's impossible to do by yourself.
I can't do this. So he's been a blessing. When I first picked him up, I was worried because I picked him up on slow season. And I was like, fuck. Money's going out. Yeah. It's not coming in. And he's gone through the hard times with me where like, hey, you gotta wait a little bit because shit's just fucked up. Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
boom, jobs line up.
Jobs come in, and all I do is pray, bro. I swear, all I do is like, there's times that I get into like a slow spurt, and I got jobs that I finished, but then I'm still working on, but there's nothing coming in the next few months.
The pipeline dries out.
It's dried out. I'm like, God, please, bro, just help me get to the next, or help me get enough work where I can keep this guy and just keep it.
You're gonna get I can't compete with God, where you're gonna take us out of business.
And then what does he do? That was last week that I prayed. I was like, hey, it's December. Like, October, November, December is usually dry. Like, I'm home.
Everybody's waiting for the next year.
Yeah, they're just waiting for, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the gifts. They want to spend the money on that. It's not raining, so they're not forced to address the roof right now. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, man, what do we do? Luckily, October, November, December, I've been busting a couple of roofs out that last year I wouldn't have had. They weren't coming in. Yeah. This year, whatever's been coming in lately, I want them all.
Yeah, of course.
If they pay me, I tell them, if you pay, I play. Regardless if it's small or big. If it's small, you're gonna pay me the number that I asked you for.
Of course.
And if it's big, I'm gonna take care of you because I want that job. So instead of you paying a bigger ticket, I lower my number a little bit, but I still make a good change.
You still play.
I still get to play. Yeah. So it works out.
Okay. And then so making it will be basically taking care of those you love.
Yeah, making it now would be, to me, being financially, you got bills, but not having to worry about the bills.
Making decisions. So my definition is not making decisions based off money.
Nice.
And that's one part. That, at least financially making it is that.
Yeah.
And then the other part for me is time. Because I stopped making decisions based off money.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on 2.5 million Amex points. I can fucking travel the world first class right now, and I don't got time.
Yeah.
So that's the next part.
I'll take them. Shit.
No.
We'll take them.
I'm stashing them.
We'll go on a trip for you.
I'm stashing
we'll
them,
take
bro.
Jakey to Disney World and fucking Paris or something.
Yeah, because I went to Orlando. That's my one vacation that I go to a lot, bro. Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
Yeah, that would be making it.
Okay.
Making it would be several jobs a week, or busting a roof every day. If you're busting a roof every day, you definitely made it.
Yeah.
Money wise, you made it because
this is the first time I'll do this on this podcast, but I think the conversation it warrants it anyway. I think that what I would do if I were in your shoes, how about that? With your permission for me to tell you, you've got to find a way to multiply yourself. As Alex, I tell him this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Because you have the problem that 95% of the people that I meet that have a good business have. You kind of hit that, like, you're doing good. And an extra 10 jobs in a year, it's a big difference for the year before, because whatever your average job is, you make an extra X amount of money.
Yeah.
But like, that's kind of like the ceiling. So we see a lot with creative guys, because it's in your roofing, there's a science to it, but it's an art, It's like, I know how to do everything, and I'm the one that does it best, not even counting the risk financially that it takes to maybe hire somebody to do something, because if it's slow, then you're paying for no reason. You still got to dish out the bread. But you multiply yourself, now you could do fucking, there's not enough roofs in Miami for you to stay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
because the ceiling in your business should be whatever amount of houses have a roof.
Correct. Well, every house.
What I mean, so
the downfall is that there's a lot of fucking roofers. The good part is that there's not many good ones. So
100%. And you already got that part figured out. You do good customer service. Yeah. You've been in business 10 years. That means you deliver a good product.
Yeah.
How do you, instead of doing, you said a roof a day, that means you're doing well, right? Is that what you?
Yeah, I do a couple let's
say you do a roof a day. I mean, that's fucking 20. Let's say weekdays, that's 20 roofs a month.
We're doing excellent.
How do you get to like 50 roofs? I mean, maybe that's a crazy fucking number, but why not shoot for that so then you land at 20?
That would be a good idea. I mean, that's a good hope. And 50 roofs a month would be like, I don't know.
Rely on God, obviously. Keep praying.
No, of course.
But I mean, we'll find a little strategy that's a little bit more.
Advertising versus God. I'll take God,
and people.
Yeah.
And no, you need God and everything. And then people, bro. You cannot do this shit by yourself.
No, of course not. I mean, that's why I got this guy to help me with the running around, putting the ladders, picking up the permits, picking up materials on when it's time for like the job to happen, where I don't have to do that, where I can go. Today we were running a job, and at 1 o'clock I went to go sign another job. Yeah, definitely.
Are you making less money than before when you had them?
No, well, you make less money in the sense that I'm paying a guy now for it, but he's made up. It's made up for all the shit that
net. Are you netting less money?
It's been a good choice.
You had a better year than what you did before.
For sure. If not, I'll be doing all the running around. I'll be stressful.
You would have cut him. Because as much as you might love him, at the end of the day, like I know you're married, you got a house to take care of.
I know bills are bills, and it gets to a point where you got to figure it out, though. I mean, and then
what did the crazy big roofing company, a gringo, the tall, intimidating guy, do that you don't to be so big? That's what you don't have to answer that, but that's what you need to think about.
No, I know, and that's why. Well, first of all, they've been around for 40 years.
Okay, but that's
I understand that if you know everything that they know, you can probably do it faster. Was my thought. Okay. Well, it is my thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw how he ran let's say the back end of the thing, and I saw how he ran the crews.
Yeah.
And then I saw how, in general, they wanted to treat the customer. I learned all those three things. I never learned how to run the business, money part, shit like that. They're not going to teach you that because,
of course, 100%.
Your job is there to fucking sell. Yeah. But I was good at it.
But 40 years gives them recognition, gives them time to get more partnerships and referral partners.
Yeah.
But this guy was fucking, forget advertising.
Back then, what
handing out flyers and yellow pages. Probably. Newspaper ads.
Probably,
no, for sure. If he had enough money, maybe a radio or a TV ad, and a shitty channel because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
You do that. I see you all the time in Lifestyle Miami and all these pages I don't know if it's free, but very.
Some are free, some I got to pay a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it's worth the call.
But you can make one post and get in front of fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And the best part of it all, this is what I'm trying to get you to think, because I think that's how I've done in 5 years, what I know people that have been doing it for 30 haven't done.
Yeah.
when you run if you run a newspaper ad for a month, you know, every day your ad is there.
Yeah.
After a month, ain't nobody going back to the old newspaper to look at the newspaper ever again.
Yeah.
I put, whatever the fuck you have on your Instagram, I can go and scroll down, and whenever you make your first post, I can still see it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that's the advantage how a lot of people are able to cut that timeline of like, oh, Fulanito's been in business for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You did shit in 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 and half, you know?
Yeah.
And you have, because you've been in business for 10 years.
But I haven't, haven't hit the millions level. And I feel that would be this next set of 10 years, let's say.
That's your next level, your next phase.
This year, we're going to start out with a CRM, being more, having the back end more organized where I can see the numbers. I'm on pen and paper, everything. If it's not on QuickBooks, it's on a spreadsheet or pen and paper. It works.
It does work. It's
but
effective.
It works for a little while.
But it works to get to this level.
Exactly. If I want to get to the next one, which I do, I can not worry about paying this guy. I can. There's always money in the bank. For me to do that, I have to organize
100%
the back end so I can see how much money we have in estimates, how much money did we close, and shit like that. And that helps. Seeing the numbers will help you try to stay motivated to close them versus. Yeah, I given out estimates to $500,000 a month, but I never tracked them, so whatever. That 20 grand roof, I didn't care. But when you put it all together, like holy shit, that 20 grand, that 50 grand roof, and that 30 grand roof in one shot,
exactly.
It's good money.
It's life changing to your business.
This week, my best week ever in sales.
Congrats.
I asked God, help me get through December.
You know what? Keep writing the strategy of God, bro.
God, help me get through this December and line me up hot. Start me off hot for the new year. I signed like 6 like 200 and something $1,000.
Right, my boy answered the call, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, my boy, I mean God.
The next day, hey, Al, we're ready to move forward. An hour later, hey, Al, the email, that's good. Let's lock it down. Today, I signed my second biggest roof, $76,000.
What's the biggest one you've ever done?
78.
Okay, so it's basically a tie.
So now, hopefully,
bro, you should pay yourself another $3,000 just so you break your record.
so leveling up in a sense of my ticket is hopefully now getting a little higher for bigger roofs, which at the end of the day, I was taught to target the customers you want.
Of course.
I don't have a problem with nobody. If you pay me, I play.
If I pay, you play.
But I'm not gonna not worry about it. But I'm focused on
the next phase of your business.
The bigger ticket is gonna help me 100%. Get maybe faster, maybe whatever.
So what do you think you need to do to land bigger clients?
I think it's just the exposure, man. To be honest, and have them call me
you missed a part, bro.
You
gotta pray.
Well, of course we're gonna pray first. You
gotta ask God, bro.
Well, he's already started, but to keep it consistent, it's just being exposed to those kind of customers. Those.
How do you do exposure? Like just online presence.
Online, I try to be very big online just to show people the way I do roofing, but also give them a little bit of me.
100%.
At the end of the day, you buy the person that's coming to your house, regardless of who you call. You're gonna buy that person that came to see you. So, also at the end of the day, you're gonna give that money to somebody. So why don't you give it to me?
That's the way I've always thought. Somebody's getting that client.
So what the fuck? Like why wouldn't I try my best for me to be that guy? And then once you see me deliver, you'll be like, oh shit, it's.
Bro, I got a couple questions before we start wrapping up here. But what has been the biggest challenge in having your own business in roofing? Think about it if you need to think.
No. There's no thinking. It's raw. It's money.
Yeah.
Money. Like I said,
you depend on your own money.
You see a lot of money sometimes, and sometimes you don't see shit. And it's like, what the fuck?
So you would say that maybe and I am very more than familiar with what you mean, but for people that don't know, are you referring to the inconsistency of one day you have a lot of money, the next day maybe you're like, fuck, I need to do a couple jobs?
Yeah. It's being a small guy, these bigger guys, those phones ring like crazy every day and they're getting leads every day. It's their job to close them. Mm-hmm. Luckily they got good guys out there to close them. If not, they wouldn't be still hanging around. But if I had the opportunity to get in front of people, I feel that I can 90%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there to sell you a service, and most people want to get service. They're not trying to get pushed by a number, or if you're at 25 and the other guy's at 17, 19, but I'm at 25, the other guy's at 28. This guy's, he shouldn't even be considered.
Right.
Not that we're trying to get you for more money, but our prices make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's just getting in front of the customers would probably take me to where I want to be.
Right. Perfect. And then my second to last question. Why should somebody do their roof with Big Al over anybody else?
That's a good question. Everybody should choose Big Al's Roofing because they want to deal with somebody who's a local, born and raised person just like them, who's gone through the same situations that they have, either in life or in business. Just a regular Joe like them, but I'm here to provide a good service. I know that I put out good roofs. I know that the customers, from their feedback, not because I say it, is from what is proven in reviews and from the text that I like to post. It's not to show off. It's to show people that I'm a regular Joe like you, but I can take care of you. I know that the service that you're looking for, a roof, I can deliver among a few other companies. Mm-hmm. The quick turnaround, the stress-free dealing with me as an owner versus having like a middleman where you tell the middleman something, but then the production comes and does the roof, but the middleman didn't refer to the production guy, and then they took off the gutters when they weren't supposed to, or they did this when they weren't supposed to. Where having me like there is, I cater to you and your roof. I can tell you everybody the same shit when I sit down and talk to you, because they're 99% of the time they all ask the same exact questions, just in different ways. But I want to sell my service. I'm not trying to sell my company. I'm a roofer, but I'm a roofer that's going to service you and take care of you at a super fair price, where you're going to get the premium quality service of like these higher end companies at a lower markup, where I still make some change and be happy. But
you're not in there for the money. You're in there to deliver a good experience.
My goal is to deliver the experience and literally become the neighborhood roofer. Like I've gone to neighborhoods where I've done 3-4 houses on the same street, or 5 houses in the same little roundabout, which in Davie that's what I'm working on now. Nice. And the houses are $70,000, $80,000 roofs. Nice. I got in there from a football player, and then from there I've got other
good for you
houses. But that is the goal. It's a long-term game. I'm not in a rush. Other people do things, get licenses or whatever, and hope that shit just falls or they're instantly millionaires. But
what I've learned from this conversation with you is that you don't need a master plan to get into business. You just need to have a good heart and a little bit of common sense.
I just tell people,
and you gotta have some faith too.
Believe in God, number 1.
No, for sure. I'm saying it jokingly, but I mean it. Yeah.
Number 2, you gotta believe in yourself. Yeah. Because along the road, I did doubt myself. Yeah. I did doubt myself to a point where I walked back in to the door of the other guy. Yeah. And we had a conversation like this, and I told him what I was going through, and I told him that I basically wanted to quit. Yeah. That whatever was happening to me at that time, it all came together, and I just wasn't feeling it. I lost, let's say, the passion for it. Thank God he turned out to be an asshole in that
meeting,
in that whole situation, and I didn't end up going back. Which I would have liked, because I would have liked to run that company. I would have liked to run a company when I was working there as a salesman. Yeah. It's already set. You just got to keep the wheels going. I would have made pretty good money. But it'll never be yours. But it's not mine. Yeah. And like my other friends have told me that used to work for them too, and they also have their own company now. I've not mentored, but I've assisted like 5 other guys to get like their roofing license. Besides Mario, a couple of other that I know, a couple of other guys have gotten their license because they've felt inspired by me in some way or the other. And that is my goal too. I feel that this eventually will be part of a story that I'll tell
for sure.
one day.
Your story still being written.
And I'm still writing that book. Hopefully in 10 years, I not Z Roofing like or Johnson Roofing like, but Big Al like in how my vision is, and hopefully, we're roofing in all the
I
other
think you'll be
neighborhoods.
bigger, bro.
I hope so.
I know. You said believe in yourself. Well, I believe in you, one. And
Thank
two,
you.
I think, I don't want to sound like a preacher here now. So going back to the church, but like, you cannot underestimate the power of like the internet, basically.
Yeah, no, I realize that.
Like it's a multiplier. Well, whatever I mean, even if it's in 40 years, but in 40 years, if you're in business 20, 30 years from now, you're going to be.
Well, thank the internet.
Well, for one, two, you'll be bigger.
Thank God.
Like, I don't think that whole, like, people like, I guess my dad, that you stay at a certain level for so long.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, it's good.
I mean, yeah, you live a good life. You live a good life, but
free time, go where the
inflation,
fuck you want.
1, 2, like, you could just get in front of so many more people in so many different ways nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you got fucking, I see some GCs now running ads to try to teach people how to do other, like, there's a crazy insane, there's so many avenues now for you to use your knowledge that they weren't in the past.
Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you, you'll be bigger than them.
No, it's.
I mean, maybe you'll be bigger than what they are today. They do have a little bit of a head start. So
they have a head start, but they've unless somebody else from that side takes on like the next level for that company, they peaked. Like we're not keeping up with the times. Yeah. Luckily, like the whole SEO and the advertising was good the first few years, and the last couple of years has been garbage.
Because you got to pivot, yeah.
And then I realized, okay, now I got to stop that. And now what people want is the fucking internet, that social media. They want to see you on Instagram. They want to see you busting a roof. They want to see you talking shit. They want to see you making these random videos. And once I realized that, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of sitting in front of a camera. I'll talk to a customer, no problems. But you bring out a camera, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it makes me feel weird. But I don't have a problem, speaking with the customer and closing work and stuff like that. So.
Last question, bro. What advice would you give? I guess I lost track of the years that you were doing certain things, but the young you that was jumping from job to job, if you knew then what you know now, what would you tell yourself at that age? Everybody takes a deep breath when I ask that. I swear to God, I'm gonna go back to every single question.
And you should make a clip.
I'm serious.
To be honest, the biggest thing you want to do is not give up on yourself. The second you doubt what you're doing, you're gonna drown yourself in your own thoughts. I got through shit, or I've seen people go through stuff, and I always try to find the positive in it, or find the solution right away. Why are you gonna try to? This happened to you, and you're gonna go there days, hours, feeling bad for yourself when you can just figure that shit out, move on,
take a few minutes and move on.
So my biggest advice would be to 100% believe in yourself and do something that you like or you love. Rather, I don't like roofing. I love this shit. Like. You tell me to wake up at 5 a.m. because I have to drive down a few hours, or even if I live locally, I'll still wake up at 5 a.m. to get to the job site at 7. Be the first one there and be the last one to leave with the guys. Why? Because this is what I sell the customer. I'm there. I'm gonna take care of your roof. I'm gonna handle all the problems if anything does come up. So that's the personal side that I give of being this. But to answer your question again, is believing in yourself, because. By believing in yourself, like you can do anything, man. You can do
anything your mind sets your mind to. You can accomplish
if you want to. I promise you can do it. And look at you and the 2 businesses you have up right now. Your insurance game and this is crazy. The setup you got here and
thank you.
Where you're gonna start pushing out, and who knows who you have sitting in this chair in the next couple months that is gonna be like, holy shit. You got that guy or that lady or whatever the case may be.
Oh, we can come back to this podcast when you're bigger than the other guys we talked about.
And then we're like, hey, remember those motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, see if we can get you then when you're too famous.
The what?
See if we can get you in this podcast when you're bigger than the guys we discussed. But
I'm humble, bro. I'm not better than you. I'm not better than nobody. I'm just a better roofer. That's all.
I'm humble at everything but roofing. I'm just better.
Yeah, if it comes down to roofing and it's not me, I'm just the face of the company, but I have to say it's the guys that do the work that are really have given me the ability to create this image for the people and push this brand and market this brand of Big Al's Roofing. Because I could have had other crews, which I've had to sample other crews sometimes, and it's not the same. It's not the same. So the crews have definitely blessed me to get to where I'm at.
Well, Big Al, thank you for coming on the pod, bro.
No,
I think great. It's a good conversation. There's dude, I got a lot from it, and good, and even like things that are making me rethink the way that I do certain things we do now. I'll tell you once we're off camera, but dude, keep doing what you're doing, bro. I think you tweak a couple of things, you know, and you hire some people, and you're gonna blow the shit out of the water, bro. Because you're genuine when you talk to people, and people see that. You know, like when you give prices for roofs, I guarantee you, like people go with you. The reviews help. All the shit you do helps, but it's how genuine you are when you speak to people.
I appreciate that.
You can fake that. You can fake caring.
I'm not a car salesman. I'm not a.
You can fake. Yeah, you quit AT&T because you have to lie.
I'm delivering, bro. I'm gonna deliver for you, and I know that roofing
it's a blessing
and
a curse.
Thing.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, because they expect perfection, and we try to not be perfect, but I try to be as close as I can to leave you happy. By the time we're done, as long as you're satisfied, regardless of what happened to the project, we'll get there. You don't always have a hiccup, but they don't always go smooth. Shit happens.
Look at that camera and give a shout out to your wife,
Christina. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. Christina, I love you. See you soon. She's out in New York with her sister. When I was an Uber driver, one night, 6:30, it was like a Thursday. I didn't even drive Thursdays, but
you met your wife on Uber.
I go, Dan, let me go drive around tonight. 6:30 at night, pull up by the airport. I'm in black t-shirt and fucking shorts with holes in them and shit. I don't expect nothing. I've had a bunch of girls in my car. I never flirted with them. I just same thing with roofing. I want you in my car.
You're on camera.
Get out. I want you in the car and I want you to get out. I want to flip. I want to pick up the next person and just keep flipping customers like that. One day at 6:30 at night, it was nighttime. I remember this shit. Like, pull up down like by the airport, by the warehouse area, and this fucking lady's just standing there in the dark. And when the car pulls up, the lights shine on her
like a movie.
I swear to you, like a movie. Long black hair, red dress up to her knees.
This man had just had a prayer on the way there for sure.
Skinny at that time. I made her a little thick, but and I said, damn. I sat up in the chair. I put some cologne on real quick, and then I go, where are you going? She said, oh, take me to South Beach. I just moved here, and I'm gonna go do some salsa classes over there and Senior Frogs. I said, all right. First woman that I've ever really had got into a conversation, like just talking, laughing. And when I'm about to drop her off, I had a little notebook there for roofing and my notes and shit. And I was like, this is weird, but you think I didn't get to finish. She's like, oh, you want my phone number? And she grabbed the pen.
She's a closer. She's a closer.
I couldn't wait. I dropped her off, and like 10 minutes later, I was already texting her and shit like that. I stopped doing Uber that night. I went back to Senior Frogs, wait for her to finish her stupid little class. 10 years later, I'm still her Uber driver.
Let's go.
So yeah, I mean, she's been a blessing to me.
It's fucking online dating where you got Uber, bro. Yeah.
That worked too, but this again. What did I do?
Statute of limitations. You're not up here, bro.
What did I do? I asked God. I said, God, I don't know what you're gonna do, but put her in front of me. Because I didn't want a Miami chick just because of growing up here. It's just they're good, but they're not. It's not what I wanted.
I get it. Yeah, it's not what was for you.
And I said, God, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but put her in front of me. And he put her in my fucking car.
Well, keep that face on, my brother.
And now, whatever, bro. It's been a blessing, and
it's amazing. Well, shout out to her. And then make sure you give her a shout out because we haven't talked about her. So, all right, bro. Well, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks again for coming on.
Back there behind the scenes.
And